Aloha mai, aloha gang, o ia kona ke ia. It's Jason, and today I'm coming to you from my apartment in New York. I was doing some writing this morning about the kukui nut, and it dawned on me that while I was talking about the kukui nut, I had never talked about Inamona. Do you guys know what Inamona is? If you don't, no shame. I didn't know about it for a really long time. I learned about it when I first started studying about Molokai because I heard that on Molokai they ate something called Inamona that was made from kukui nuts because kukui trees are everywhere. It happens to be it was designated as the state symbol in 1959 for the state of Hawaii, but the kukui flower or the kukui lei is the official lei for the island of Molokai. And down in Hālawa Valley, there are kukui trees everywhere. I mean, everywhere. So I figured if I was going to be on Molokai and study about all things Molokai, that I should try some Inamona. It was one of my very first trips down into Hālawa Valley, and my Hawaiian mom, Mom Solatorio, had said, she had mentioned something about Inamona, and I said, oh my gosh, I really want to try that sometime. And she said, oh, we have some inside the house in the icebox. And she went into the kitchen and she opened up the icebox and pulled out a jar. And this wasn't a store-bought thing. It was actually in an old glass jar, probably like a pickle jar or the kind you might see holding Spanish olives or something for salads. In Halawa, we don't throw anything away, and certainly not a good glass jar. And inside was, it looked kind of like peanut butter that had separated. And not the kind of peanut butter that you would get in a regular grocery store, not the kind that would say like Jif or Peter Pan or something like that. This is the kind that you would get at a health food store where it's raw peanuts and then you put it through the grinder and it's still kind of chunky and the oil kind of floats to the top. Well, in this jar was this kind of golden colored oil and this chopped nuts on the bottom, and she mixed it up and she said, here, taste some. And she put a teaspoon inside and she handed it to me. And it was really, really good. It was kind of smoky and it was salty. Now, Inamona is made from the kukui nut. And just in case you don't know what a kukui nut is, this is a kukui nut, and this is the shell of the nut that kind of goes around it. This is one of my favorite lei because it shows you the whole nut. It shows you the kukui and the shell. So in this case, the nut itself had been roasted and then chopped up, probably with a knife, or I guess you could use a food processor now if you have electricity, probably ground originally with stone tools, and then it was mixed with Hawaiian salt. So it's kind of like they call it a nut relish actually. It's a condiment found in Hawaiian dishes. You might put it on fish or you might put it on your vegetables. It would be a condiment used in poke, the chopped raw fish. So anyway, I had a little bit of it on the spoon, and I loved it. And she had turned her back. Now, I'm not a person who would ever take something, but I loved it so much that I dipped the spoon back in to get another bite because it was salty and it was nutty and it tasted kind of smoky. And when Mom Solatorio turned around and she looked at me, she said, wait, how much have you eaten? And I had just put a big scoop of it in my mouth. And I had to tell her that I had just had another scoop of Inamona. And she said, awe, meaning, oh no. And I said, well, why? What's the problem? And she said, well, Inamona is used sometimes as a laxative. So you've probably had more than you needed to have. And tonight maybe it's best that you sleep outside with the dogs, which I want to tell you did not happen, thankfully. They didn't make me sleep outside with the dogs, and I don't remember it having a crazy effect on my body and its digestive system, but I do know that that's what they use. One of the many uses of kukui nuts are used for its laxative effect because the nut itself is very oily. I'm a big fan of Inamona. Anytime anybody offers it, I'm right there with the spoon ready to go. And I hope that if you visit the Hawaiian Islands and somebody offers you some Inamona, that you'll have a taste too, but just a little bit, okay? Otherwise, you'll be sleeping outside with the dogs. Happy Aloha Thursday, gang. I hope you're having a great week, and I look forward to talking with you soon. Ahui ho.